since my divine Greek coffee maker is in Sydney right now. So, oh, it is taking such a long time. Oh, there we go. There we go. Buttons pushed. All right. So, like I was saying, welcome to Thursday, the 31st of July. I don't know how much of what I said previously to this was recorded because it was just taking its time. All right, so as I said in the title, Chiron has now gone retrograde. All right, so that went retrograde at 12:42 this morning, thus heralding our internal healing, and becoming okay with ourselves, I guess, or with oh my God, there's so many things going on, so when the ruling planets move signs, so Chiron's been in Aries for a long time now. I don't have maybe 7 years now. Anyway, I can confirm that later. But each time Mars moves sign, then Chiron's influence also changes. So in the last bit of time, Mars has, he's done his retrograde when he was in Cancer. That was a lot for us to heal from our ancestral sort of wounds. Then Mars went into Virgo. All right, so that gave us a little bit more of a health conscious focus. We were maybe analyzing the data that we collected while Mars was retrograde. All right, so now we've got Mars just about to move into Libra. I still haven't. Oh my God, I'm going to do it now. Hang on, let me just click buttons, and because it doesn't look like it's working today. There we go. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Susan. Hi, Caroline. How are you? All right. I really need to know when Mars moves into Libra. So give me 2 seconds. That would be on the Friday, the 8th of August. All right. So there we go. We've got a bit of a timeline there for Mars and his movement into the place where he still doesn't like. All right. Still doesn't like Aries. I mean Libra, because he is much more of a doer and doesn't want to be diplomatic. I mean, he can be. He can be strategic and diplomatic, but he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, he just wants to like move on. Anyway, back to the point. All right, so Chiron has now gone retrograde, and we have been analyzing, we've been doing the right things for ourselves. We've been very proactive when it comes to healthcare, self care, changing our daily routines and rituals, how we serve others, the duties that we perform. I think, I mean, obviously, we all want to do our best when we are at service of two people, but it comes to a point where it's like, yeah, remember the Mars South Node? My cup is empty, dude. I've got nothing to give you. All right, so here we are with Chiron now turning retrograde, and it's like that statement that we made the other day when Mars was conjunct Chiron, was the South Node. Yeah, it all just makes sense. It gives us permission to stop and go, you know what? I have given too much. I have given so much that I need to now stop and, look within so I can find all of the things that need healing. All right. I just finished listening to a book, and that was just perfect timing. It was the premise of the book was, there was a band, and the lead singer, gave 110%. And then by the end of the tour, he was having panic attacks and his mental health wasn't great, and he was still trying to give 110%. And in the end, he collapsed on stage and blah blah blah, all the things. But that was the thing that started the healing crisis for that person to then go and do all of the mental health work to really stop. They had 2 years off, and I'm not saying have 2 years off, but the fact that they had that time off, they were able to then come back even stronger with more beauty and more assistance to other people, because the lessons that they learned about themselves, Chiron, they can then pass on. That's the thing about Chiron. You then become the master of the wound, and you are able to then share your findings and help other people, right? So there's the beautiful thing that Chiron's now saying, all right, it's time for you to turn within. All right, become a better individual. See what it is about yourself that you need to heal. All right, are you too much? Or do you perceive yourself as from other people's perspective as too much or not enough? Or you know what I mean? This is about you as an individual, right? So that's the Chiron Aries retrograde that has now started. I don't know how long it goes for. I didn't look at that. I wasn't concerned with that. I was saying to my friend last night that, when I am in the transit with you guys, I find that I can only do the words day by day because I'm in it. There's times where I can be 2 weeks ahead, a month ahead, and because I'm not in that transit, so right now I'm finding, and this is just a realization that I've only just had because I'm like frustrated that I'm not doing my duty. I'm not serving it the best that I can. But then I had that realization and I'm like, oh, I'm in it. It's that whole forest for the trees, you have to just be present in the moment. All right. I will click the button again before I go on to Venus and her transit, which has been, I was cleaning socks and shoes, Mars Virgo, Pisces feet. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Deborah. How are you? All right, so now let's move on to the other massive one today. Venus is at 29 degrees currently, and she is moving into Cancer at 2 p.m. All right, now this is just beautiful. All right, so when Venus moved into Cancer on the 5th of July, sorry, Venus moved into Gemini on the 5th of July. Now, at that time, Mercury, which rules Gemini, was at 7 degrees of Leo. It had only just gone in. Now, the shadow was at 4 degrees. All right, so Venus moved into Gemini while Mercury was in shadow. So, therefore, all of Venus's experience in Gemini was, you know, thoughts, communications, learnings, siblings, low level education rather than Sagittarius's high level education. Anyway, but it was all she also had Hygeia there, all right? You know how much I love her. And so while Venus was walking through those halls of her mind with Mercury in Leo saying, this is who I am, blah, 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 it was very much an ego story because Mercury doesn't really like being there because, the sort of the analogy I got was Mercury's so curious and willing to learn things about everything. But when he's spouting ego, it's just not really a comfortable place. I mean, it's his fall, all right? So he doesn't have enough. But I just feel like, he's so big noting himself. He's not actually getting the message, all right? And that's his job, is to give the message. All right, so now here we are with Venus at 29 degrees. She's done a lot of mental health work in the last uh, 26 days. And Mercury tomorrow reaches that cazimi, the heart of the matter. All right. So Mercury is going to meet the heart of the sun tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. All right. While the moon has moved into Scorpio. So here we are still in a very deep introspective place for the cazimi, right? But Venus is at that point where she's like, what have I learned? You know, how can I potentially, I mean, she's been chatty and curious and social, but she's got to the point where it's like, I need to be held now. All of the words, did the people hear me, or were they just, engaging with me because I was so like, da, 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 da. Was there real deep meaning there? All right. So with Chiron going retrograde, Venus at 29 degrees, really sort of going, well, I did all of that. Mercury's, done the one hit, done the reverse. We got to that midpoint, and then she moves into Cancer and she's like, I need to be held. I don't just need to be heard. I now can acknowledge with my words that I need more than just chatter. I need something real. I need to feel now. Well, let me just click the button again. So yeah, very much a pivot point today. Yeah, so in learning. Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, Mikkel. How are you? Tell us about Chiron retrograde. Yes, so I was saying at the beginning of this one, Mikkel, that, you know, Chiron has got to a point where he is acknowledging all of the things that he believes about himself. All right. So whether it's, you're too much, you're not enough, it's about the wound of being the person you are, the individual that you are. And, in this current day and age, saying that I am wounded, I am damaged, I am hurting is not something that brings up shame anymore. So Chiron going retrograde is, I was telling the story of the book that I just listened to, where the lead singer gave so much of himself that he ended up needing to retreat and go and get, mental health specialists, and, really do that inward journey to healing, so that when they came back, bigger and better and stronger and more authentic. Being able to, in that sense, with Mercury being in Leo, I think it was a great analogy, because, Leo is that on stage presence. So this guy was like, it's okay to show my fans that I too need rest, recovery, and healing. And therefore, because it is on a stage, everybody else then can relate with that mercurial relationship, and even Venus still being able to speak her words. That, I mean, that it all just fits. All right. So it's being able to stand up and go, I see this for what it is. I am enough, and I can also tell other people around me that love me that they too are enough, that they too also need to stop and heal and use words, so that other people can also know where they're at. It's, and so this is in the bottom of the words I wrote, like, please be aware that everybody is going through this. And, as brave and brash as, people can be, there's that Mars ruling Chiron. It's okay to stop and be proactive about healthcare and self-care, and changing your daily rituals so that they suit you. When Mars moves into Libra, he's going to have to find balance. He it's just Libra, like it's the need to find balance. He has to do that. Regardless of whether he wants to talk to people or not, he's going to have to be diplomatic. He's going to have to be rational. And yeah, well, as soon as he moves into Libra, then he's being ruled by Venus in Cancer, who needs a hug, who needs to be comfortable and secure in their home environment, who needs to feel seen and heard and okay with, like, with in the family. So for Michael right now, I don't think he's watching this because he's getting ready to for his uncle's funeral. But, it's just interesting that, Chiron's gone retrograde. It's time to heal, and he's going to be in his family's presence. He hasn't been there for a while. So it's just, it always just fits. So let me know if you are feeling this this thing as well. Like, are you feeling like it's okay for you to stop, acknowledge those wounds? Maybe in the before she enters Cancer, you can speak to the people that need to hear these words from you. All right, again, with the 9:30 tomorrow morning in the cazimi. I know there's a traditional thing that says when a planet is too close to the sun, it doesn't function well. All right. So until it gets to that cazimi, and then it's like the sun shining its magnificence through the planet. Therefore, that energy is coming through better. But currently, so Mercury is too close to the sun, not functioning well in Leo. And but we're getting to this point where might be able to come out. I hope that makes sense. I hope that you can, like, understand that it does require bravery to do the things that are right for yourself. All right, especially because we are so conditioned, and, to be seen and not heard, to not express our feelings, to, to tough it up, tough, 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 you'll be right, you know, and it's like, no, we've had enough suicide, we have had enough of people not acknowledging their feelings, we've had enough of people struggling alone. It's not time for that now. In this current day and age, you know, we need to be able to look at our friends and family and ask them. I mean, the whole, are you okay? You know, the whole, you know, stay chatty, you know, especially in men's health. Like you know, in the last, since Mars went retrograde, so we're talking like October last year, I have seen so much of an emergence of men holding men and holding space for them to express their emotions, to get authentic, to get real, you know, to talk about the things that are making them not function well in their mind. It's not time to be silent. It is time to speak up. That was a bit of a you know, a side shoot, but you know, in my own environment, I'm seeing the need for men to heal, for the need for men to feel, to be seen and heard. And so, you know, I'm sure, well, especially with Chiron in Aries, you know, it is a time for everybody to heal themselves as an individual, but it's a masculine sign. And like I said, I have got two specific friends that have been in my life for a long time that are leading men's group. You know what I mean? So like you know, or like another person that I'm like, you know, it's okay for you to go and find mental health channels so that you can express these feelings that are bubbling up inside you and making you not okay. So how does that feel, guys? I know that I just got a little bit deep there, but you know, it is time. Hi, Louise. How are you? Oh, thank you, Mikkel. Thank you. That's so nice. All right, so that was just my intro. Oh my God, 16 minutes. There we go. Very passionate day. All right, so like I said, um, um, oh my God. Okay, so let me just read some of my notes. Okay, so now the moon. All right, so like I was saying, the moon is, where is the moon? Oh, it's in Libra. It is in Libra. It is trying to find balance and equilibrium, but right, like we were sort of saying, you know, at 29 degrees, you know, her balance comes from offloading some of these things now that Chiron's gone retrograde. And and then when she moves into Cancer, then it's still going to be in Libra up until that tomorrow morning at 3:25 when it moves into Scorpio. Just in time for the cazimi. So we have to be in that dark, intense place. We've, you know, Scorpio moon, guys, it's coming. All right, so the moon, okay, so the moon is trine Hygeia at 11 a.m. So make sure that you're doing all of those health practices. All right. So, you know, if you are struggling or feeling, or you can see someone around you doing that, then make sure that, you know, it's like, okay, what can we do to ground you, to make you feel better? All right. So whether it's, how about you have a drink of water, maybe some breathing, have you eaten enough? All right. So there's more of those self-care principles involved at that 11 a.m. mark, because the moon is heading to opposition Chiron at 9 p.m. So not only is Chiron's very active right now, because remember we've got that station retrograde, so the magnifying glass is there, and then the moon's going to come through at that 9 p.m. mark, and healing will entail. All right. Now after 7, there is a square to Pluto starting. All right. So we've got that after 7, the moon starts to square Pluto. And then at that 9 p.m., the moon is in opposition to Chiron. So I think there is going to be some healing conversations heard. All right. Because that square to Pluto, there are emotional truths and deep feelings. All right. Now, another one that I saw ages ago that I wrote in here is the Jupiter. All right, so Jupiter is making no other aspects except for a trine to Lilith. And here I have written that there may be some dark truths exposed. All right, so with Chiron and Lilith, you know, moving into the Scorpio moon, the cazimi, you can see how this is all unfolding. All right. Now, there is an opportunity to cleanse the past, to release these stored hurts. If you are physically feeling this, please, any Chiron stuff, water. I'm a liter and a half down right now because I'm like I was saying at the beginning, I'm in this with you. All right, I'm having to experience it. I'm like, come on, universe, let me write more than a day's worth of work at a time, and then I've just got to step back and go, it is what it is. I'd like to have more done, but such is life. This is how it works. All right, so be willing to go over the dark spots. All right, because Mercury is also coming back to oppose Pluto. Now it gets to 4 degrees and Pluto is at 2 degrees, so it doesn't become exact. However, those experiences are seen again. Okay, so be willing to go over the dark spots, for they will show you how many lumens, which is how they measure brightness in a lamp or a torch. All right, so they will show you how many lumens it is that your inner light shines. Oh, that was so good. I love that one. I was like, I just really wanted to express that, like this Mercury where, he's willing to go back and see those things, that the stories that Pluto is sharing, that it's his inner light, or it's inner light that is showing these things. So allow yourself to fucking shine brightly, like, like the less that you fear what you're going to see, the more impact it's going to be for the healing that is coming. All right. So these are the foundations of who you are and how you are spiritually entwined in the healing aspect. All right. So much of this is just, it's just a big pivot point. It's, let's move out of the thought, let's move this out of, our mental awareness into the physical of, a hug, or, having a look at that cancer stuff. All right, so we've got home, ancestry, early childhood conditioning, our, the family that is around us, the people that we care about, that are our family, that are not just our friends. That's 11th house. This is the people that we consider our family, whether they are a blood or not. I have friends here that I've known and loved for 20, 30, 40 years, and you guys are my family. You know what I mean? Of course I have my family, but that family, like, these are my people, these are my tribe. There we go. So there we go, from ancestry to your tribe as well, that tribal aspect of the people that you need in your life, and how you express to them how much they mean to you as well. Like, here's my open expression of, my friends are my family, and I would do anything for any of them in times of need. So where does that become relevant for you in your life? Going back to the whole, it is not your responsibility to heal others, but when you see things that need addressing, that is your responsibility. Being able to comfort and guide the people that are in pain or wounded to a place where they can heal themselves. So, oof, very passionate. Oh, good morning, Erin. How are you? So nice to see you. That's a big one, guys. Oh my God, 23 minutes. I did not realize how much I had to say. Which one? This one. No, didn't mean to be disrespectful for my cards then. But it was this one. They're like, tomorrow is the Scorpio moon. You can have your Scorpio cards tomorrow. All right. So let's draw a card. Oh, King of Pentacles. Interesting. Interesting. What I'm getting from this is just being wise in the moment to what is actually valuable to you. Again, I'm not a tarot reader. Sorry. But I'm just seeing the wisdom of the value, and also the story that what you feed is grows. Okay, so there's that analogy where we all have two wolves inside us, and the one that we feed grows stronger. So that is also part of the healing process, acknowledging that there are two wolves. There you have your dark side, and you know the things that you focus on are, those, you know, I will feed you my energy and therefore you will grow. So in this case, this guy is sitting comfortably, you know, he's protected, he's got that wolf, he's smiling beautiful. He reminds me of, oh my god, the guy from, you know, he's got the bear. Ah, the guy who's got the bear in the wilderness. I love that guy. I can't think of the name of the show. Come on, Gen Xers. What is the name? His name is Ben, I think. No, or was Ben the bear? I don't know. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's the wisdom to know what is actually valuable in your life and being comfortable with it, and just focusing on the things that are important, and what you feed is the thing that will grow. So, you know, I will click the button one more time and then I'm gonna go. Yes, thank you, Erin. Thank you. Saturn and Neptune will square Venus, Cancer, and considering Aries, Chiron retrograde, I've noticed the cold harshness of the masculine due to karmic wounds, and then finally seeing a shadow. Oh, that's beautiful words. It reminds me to be with both boundaries and deeper compassion with him, inner and outer. Yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Absolutely, Caroline. That's beautiful. So now, ladies, I am going to get going. I will be attending the funeral online at 10. I've got a reading for a beautiful friend that was birthday yesterday, Claudine. I can't wait to see you. And yeah, I will be around today, guys. I'll be around in the next couple of days because I'm sitting here on my own. Actually, before I go, this is a perfect analogy. This is a perfect experience. Last night, because Mix away, I'm here on my own, and that is one of my wounds. I do not like being alone. It triggers me so much. All right. When I was talking to Karen in Launceston yesterday, she was like, "But you're a Scorpio." And I'm like, "But I'm a Pisces." And I was a latchkey kid. I was an only child. I had both parents working. You know, I had my grandparents looking after me until they passed around 10, and I do not like being on my own. My inner child experiences a lot of anxiety and fear when I'm in these situations. But because I am who I am and I know what I know, I was able to really sit with it last night and go, wow, you know, I've got so many opportunities and specific thoughts to be able to look at and heal, you know, and to reparent that child and say, look, we grew up and we're okay. It's okay for you to be on your own. It's okay for you to, you know, I'm still triggered because I'm not just on my own. I'm like fucking on my own. There is no one around me. You guys are here with me right now in this space, but there is no one here. I don't even know whether my neighbor is home, but you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so have a look at your experience and really sort of put it into perspective of what is it that is, well, like, what are your triggers? You know, like Caroline's here say, you know, speaking about what she's witnessing and, you know, helping to heal. And, you know, like I said, I'm in this, but I'm also like, I'm okay. You know, like I'm totally okay. And I can see those old stories for what they are and where they come from. So I hope that you can also find this in your experience. So 2 o'clock, when Venus moves into Cancer, I'm sure that you will feel that shift. So thank you, Caroline. That's lovely. Thank you so much. Grizzly Adams! Fucking love that guy, man. He's so cool. So, my God, this has been a very long one for a Thursday. So thank you for all for being here with me. I appreciate it so much. And like I said, if anybody needs time or space, I'm here on my own for the next couple of days. So, mwah, love you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow.